let's start, Mark, with just a general understanding. Like, what is NIL exactly? Can you just sort of give us a background on NIL?
Of course. Well, NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. Those are three separate words and refer to three separate legal entities that every individual owns about themselves. But I think it's important to think about the history of name, image, and likeness, which became official at the college level on July 1st, 2021. But we've had athletes as influencers from the history of time, all the way back to ancient Greek and Roman times. You know, the warriors, the battling in the arena were celebrities, and they built brands around their connection with an audience. You know, fast forward to 100 years ago, you know, Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth and some of those iconic sports figures became influencers in society. And, you know, as television grew, as professional sports grew, and certainly in the last 10 years, as social media has grown, athletes have been able to connect with their audience, and audiences connect with their athletes at a different level. There's always been a line between amateurism and professionalism.
Yeah.
And forever, the governing body of college athletics, NCAA, has defined amateurism as not making money off of your name, image, and likeness as an athlete. And there have been many lawsuits over the years, which the NCAA has lost almost every one of them, eroding at that. But even as society, the first time that we ever sent professional athletes to the Olympics was 1992 in the Barcelona games, when we sent the Dream Team, the original Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley basketball team. So that began the erosion of that line between amateurism and professionalism. You throw in a lot of lost court cases, throw in the peeling back of the onion of how much the NCAA had profited from programs like March Madness, and how major college football has continued to grow financially. You come to July 1st, 2021, where there's no rules, no restrictions, and it's open chaos.
And so, just sort of a bigger explanation, or diving in on maybe just a little bit of a different path. Let's talk just a little bit more about what now athletes are able to do. So in the past, obviously athletes are not being paid for their sports participation specifically. So they're not a professional athlete and getting paid for that, but they are able to now make money off of, is it the name and image and likeness of themselves as an athlete? The NCAA now says you're able to earn money off of that. It will not affect your college eligibility. That's simply what we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and the name is the use of your name in promotional opportunities. Right? Image would be your photo.
Yeah.
Likeness really is derived from the video game court cases. And we now know that EA Sports is paying college athletes to be in college football. I just heard of a new acronym last week, and it's NIL and V for voice. There are now AI programs that athletes can record themselves, and then the AI program will actually create commercials and promotional content with their voice that they don't have to record on a regular basis. So that's the new era of AI, is name, image, likeness, and voice.
Interesting. So is this relevant to parents of soccer players? So obviously I see the space in football, basketball. Are we seeing NIL deals that are happening for athletes in soccer?
I think it's growing in the non-revenue sports, Olympic sport arena. Since July 1st, 2021, really college athletics have been divided into two buckets. I like to call it the 2% bucket and the 98% bucket. And 2% has been dominated by Power Four, which are the major conferences, football players, men's and women's basketball. And we're seeing a gradual acceleration of those non-revenue sports. Baseball is climbing. We saw $1 million pitcher in women's softball last year. Certainly golf, it continues to grow. So soccer is among those sports. I think in general, athletes are learning how to take advantage of this opportunity. Colleges are using revenue sharing as an incentive for recruiting.
I'm excited to dive in just a minute around how we can support our children in building revenue from the storytelling that they can do. And I want to spend quite a bit of time on that because I know that's kind of where your expertise lies as well. And I think there's a big opportunity for us as parents to help our children develop this. And I think that this might be relevant across any sport. You know, if our children can understand how to really capture their story and tell it in an effective way, I think that can help them with recruiting, can help them with like a little NIL business on the side. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say for sure, 100%, NIL is an opportunity to create life skills. And if, as
Mm,
parents, we take it from that angle, we can change lives. You know, the first principle of our business, Skye, is how do you use athletics to better your life? And I think
mm,
as parents, it's important to think about that. And of course, we love all the soft skills that you learn through athletics, especially youth sports. And of course, we want to create opportunities for our children to go to universities or colleges and to use athletics to better their life. It's a little bit tricky today with the advent of the craziness in youth sports. But if we keep that in mind, how do you use athletics to better your life? That's a conversation that I have with parents every day of the week.
mm. Um, how do you frame that conversation and bring it to NIL? I was at a conference yesterday for youth sports in New York City, and one of the speakers just kept talking about. He was talking about the from the framework of a youth sports club, like make money, make money. I was like, oh my gosh, like how many times has this guy said make money while talking about youth sports? So part of me is having this conversation and thinking, wait, we need to like pull back the reins here, and this can't just be about money. But at the same time, I do think this is a good life lesson. So hopefully we can find a way to like walk that tightrope in a way that is compelling for our children and does focus on life lessons. But how do you frame that conversation around youth sports being a driver of life lessons and NIL to parents when you're talking to them about it?
The best athletes are the best athletes. The best teammates are the best teammates, and the best, children are the best children. And playing youth sports at a competitive level and focusing on it and, being sports specific driven is a challenge that parents need to consider, looking at because we're telling our kids and teaching them the wrong things. We're rewarding them for scoring a goal on Saturday morning when they're 12 years old, when we should be rewarding them for being a good teammate, good at being a good student, and we should be embracing them and challenging them to have interest outside of sports. And that's the balance that I try to teach and bring to parents.
Mm. While at the same time, helping them work with their child to monetize their sports experience. So it's like finding that, like I said, it's finding that tightrope to walk as parents. Let's spend just a moment talking about identity, and then let's dive into tactics on supporting our children and their storytelling.
Can I just interrupt? Can you
Oh,
help me understand when you say monetize their sports experience? What does that mean to you?
well, I guess what I'm thinking is that a child that is considering working as a high school athlete, I'm thinking that's considering diving into NILs, that's considering trying to find some advertisers that are interested in working with them through their social media channels,
Okay.
is they're taking their experience as a youth athlete and monetizing it through working through sponsorship revenue. Am
Okay.
I off on that, or like where have I got
Well,
that wrong?
well, I think that
Okay.
there's all kinds of cases of great influencers that aren't great athletes, right? And
Yeah.
there's all kinds of examples of great athletes that aren't great influencers.
Mm,
Here's two statistics around that. You're not wrong, but I want to make sure that we clarify it.
sure.
80% of all NIL deals are based on social media, okay?
Mhm.
60% of all NIL deals are based on local business relationships. The pizza shop, the sandwich shop, the insurance, the car wash, the landscaping company.
Yep.
Here's the last statistic around this that I want to share with you. In the first half of 2025, the median NIL deal at the college level, which means half the deals were greater and half the deals were less, median deal was $55.
Mhm.
So I think when we lead with monetization, that word scares me, gives me chills.
Mm.
Because again, it's telling parents it's about money.
Okay.
And I believe that that's the wrong focus.
Okay. And so what's the right focus? Storytelling?
Life skills, right?
Okay.
Using athletics to better your life. And we should be talking about not a 4-year transactional mindset,
Hmm.
but a 40-year transformative mindset.
Mm.
How do we change lives for the better for the long term?
Yeah.
Because the ball's going to stop bouncing. And the 12-year-old may not be a great 16-year-old soccer player, may not even play at high school. The great high school player may not even play in college. But
Hmm.
the skills that you learn, right, and the experiences that you gain can help form a vision for success down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I want to dive back to the statistic that you used. What was the average? If the median was $55, what's the average?
About 2,500.
Okay. Okay. So
That includes Power Four football.
yeah, no, I get it. Where there's $100,000 deals in the line, if not more than that, well over $100,000 deals.
62% of all NIL deals are less than $100.